We are amazing because our passion is limitless and our drive is intense. Therefore, you will not deny our grind. You are now listening to the Faith, Grind, and Inspire podcast.
Welcome back to another great episode of Faith, Grind, Inspire podcast. I am Gene Alert.
I am Jeffrey Patrick, the co-host with the most.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
And today we have a very special guest.
Kaleidoscope.
The man himself.
Kaleidoscope.
Kel Spencer.
We're here, baby.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah,
We got an award-winning guy here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Well, Father of the Year.
Yeah.
Father of the Years.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Husband of the Year.
I'll take that too.
Man. Yo, just overall great guy, man. Like
Thanks, man.
co-author of Single Man, Married Man.
Yes,
Like this dude,
yes.
Pens of Power, empowering the kids in the schools.
Thanks,
I like it.
man.
Like
Thanks.
I love it.
he's
Love it.
he's a dope artist. He wrote for this little artist. Some of you guys might know. Willsmith. You know what I mean?
Who's that?
I don't know, man, but I heard about him a little bit on Instagram.
I have no idea
Will
who that
Smith.
guy
I
is.
think we should follow him, maybe.
I have no
don't
idea
know.
who that guy is.
Shout out to the homie.
But shout out to my man Kel Spencer. What's up, bro?
Thanks
Thank
for having
you for coming,
me,
man.
Thanks.
Yeah,
man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
podding
Yeah,
with us,
yeah,
bro.
of course,
Podding.
Of course.
So Kel, man, this platform, this show is all about the mindset of entrepreneurs, right?
Okay.
And so once I thought about this, I said, I gotta have Kel on, man, because Kel is gonna drop some knowledge on them today, you know. And so,
We'll see.
And it's all about the mindset, man. All about entrepreneurship. All about how to take your brand to the next level.
Absolutely.
Right?
Okay.
So for those of the people that don't know you, tell the people who you are, where you from, and about Kel.
It's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
Where you at, right? Oh, where you at? You funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a Brooklyn boy. I live on Long Island now, but you know, I'm a Brooklyn boy. Grew up in Brooklyn, Brownsville, East New York. Went to school in Brooklyn. Went away to college at Morgan State.
Big school.
Shout out to all my Bears. Go
Yeah,
Bears.
that's a historical black college.
Absolutely.
Believe that.
Absolutely.
Believe that.
So, you know, I had dreams of going to the NFL when I went to Morgan State.
Yeah, nah. You can do that from there too, man.
Absolutely. But I kind of, you know, while at school, I kind of lost the love for football a little bit, but I gained more love for music. So, you know, I started recording in my man Sonny Brick's studio in his dorm room. Just started playing around with music. And from there, got a couple songs on college radio and then 92Q, which is like the Hot 97 of Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then from there, I attracted the eyes of the guy you were just talking about earlier, a gentleman by the name of Willsmith. So I ended up signing to Will's company, Overbrook Entertainment, as both an artist and as a writer.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, my writing career took off, you know, more so than me as an artist. So, you know, I worked with Will. I worked with artists like MC Lyte, Teddy Riley, Rodney Jerkins, Little Mama, Little Bow Wow, Nick Cannon. List goes on and on and on. Won an American Music Award, nominated for a Grammy, so on and so forth. But it's crazy that through that process, although my focus was mostly on music, I was learning aspects of entrepreneurship without even realizing it, without even recognizing it. Around 2007, right after winning the award, a friend of mine asked me to go on a career day with her. Went on a career day, we went in and talked to the kids, and at that point in time, it was suggested that I start an in-school program. Maybe using hip-hop and education, you know, fusing hip-hop and education. Me being involved in music, that was the furthest thing from my mind. But a couple years later, I thought about it, and then I started Pens of Power. So we got into one school turned into 3 schools, turned into 40 schools. So over the past 10 years, we've been in maybe 60 to 70 schools.
Nice.
Predominantly in New York City, but we've been in schools in Cali.
Yeah.
We've been in schools in Atlanta, D.C., Baltimore, Connecticut, Jersey. And you know, it's a program that focuses on cultural relevancy. And I would say our most popular workshop is called Decoded. So we help students decode the cultural narrative. If I live in the hood and a bike lane pops up in my hood or a Starbucks pops up, what does that mean?
I don't know.
What does Donald Trump mean when he says make America great again? But, you know, so there's media and cultural elements that if your antenna is not up, you don't really know what they mean.
Hey, man, talking about bike lane, I don't mean to cut you, but I was in the Bronx. You know, I'm in the Bronx, so when I was growing up, I ain't never had no bike lane. You know what I'm saying? And I was driving down the street the other day, and I was like, wait a minute.
There's a bike lane.
Yeah. A bicycle lane here?
Yeah.
What is that all about, man?
Might mean something.
Yeah.
Might mean them people about to move in.
Yeah, they coming. They coming, definitely.
Might mean them people about to move in.
It look different. I was
Yeah,
like, wait a
man.
minute, man.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about.
That's what
man.
that's all about.
That's what it's all about.
So, you know,
I
like I
hear
said, that pens of power, you
Where
know.
am I gonna go though?
I don't know. And they don't care.
No, they don't.
And they don't care. But like I said, you know, if we get an opportunity to teach the kids, you know, we focus on grades 4 through 12 as well as their families and parents. If we get an opportunity to show them, you know, what the cultural narrative is and give them an opportunity to decode it, they then turn their writings into a song, record the song, shoot a music video, and then get a red carpet video premiere party.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah. So that's Pens of Power. You know,
Shout
it's
out
an
to
in-school
Pens of Power.
program,
Yeah.
but, you know, it is a business at the
Yeah.
same time.
Shout
So,
out to Pens of Power.
Shout out.
Word.
So,
I
Kel's
got
the one
the
that put me on to
power.
the schools.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
Kel's
good
the man,
business.
yo.
wow, good looking. So you know, I got we have about 6 or 7 teaching artists on our team who now go in and facilitate the program.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
What is your definition of an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur is somebody who can recognize a need and then they have the access to the resources to fulfill that need. So you don't necessarily have to own a business to be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who can recognize a need and they have the access to the resources to fulfill that need.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So what makes you a particular entrepreneur is that you have to first recognize that there's a need.
Absolutely.
Got to recognize that.
Absolutely.
That's
Gotta
like
see the problem.
that's
See the problem, right? Or if you want to word it that way, you have the access to the resources to solve
the problem.
Right.
yeah.
That's why I always tell people entrepreneurs are problem solvers.
Absolutely.
You know, you have,
Some of
but
them
you
are
have
not good problem solvers. We need great problem
Yeah,
solvers.
you need great.
Those are the entrepreneurs. Those are the entrepreneurs.
I'm like, come on, man. Don't put me in the predicament to, you know?
Yeah. It's too early, Pat.
Yeah, you know, because there's some people who want to be in a certain position and they can't recognize a problem or recognize a need. Definitely can't solve it. May not have the access to the resources, and that just may not be your lane. That's cool. You may actually be one of the resources that other people call on to help solve their problems.
Yeah.
But you know, that's why I said those are the entrepreneurs.
Yeah, the one. That's very interesting. I love it.
But and then you know you can't get caught up in the role and the title or the money. You know, it has to be about solving the problem.
Yeah.
The money will come, all of that stuff will come. You know, and you know, a lot of times you might want to pay attention to what people come to you most often for. If there's one particular problem that people always come to you for, and you're like, yo, why do people always come to me for this thing?
Always.
It might be something to look into.
Yeah.
That might be your lane.
You hear that, people? That's the tip of the day.
Yeah.
The mindset of the entrepreneur, right? Being a football player, right? I was a football player, so I know you probably can actually relate to what I'm about to say. Is that you have to take care of the little things. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't coming to practice, you know, if you're not doing what you're supposed to, if you're not keeping your eye on the ball, you know, don't think you're gonna catch it.
Yep.
You got to do the little things.
Absolutely.
You know, in baseball, it's another thing. If you not connecting with the ball, don't think you're gonna hit a home run.
Absolutely.
It's not gonna happen. You got to first learn how to hit the rock.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
You're right. A good friend of mine just became the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. His name is Brian Flores.
Oh yeah, I feel that's your boy.
That's my man.
What? Oh man.
Yeah. So he just came from the Patriots. He was defensive coordinator there, and we would always talk about the Patriot way, right? And one of the things the Patriots have, even do your job is connected to what they have called NTs, right? NT means no talent. It's a list of things that you don't need any talent to do right.
Like brush your teeth.
that might be one. But it takes no talent to show up to a meeting early.
No talent.
Takes no talent to read your playbook. Takes no talent to not jump off sides. Takes no talent to encourage your teammate.
It takes no talent.
So if you do these lists of NTs right, we can win without even having any talent.
Oh, that's
wow.
Then, if you add talent to it, so if you notice, there's never, I mean, obviously Tom Brady, they don't go after superstars for the Patriots. They have a system of NTs, and we can plug and play as we go along and not miss a beat.
That's so true.
I be looking at I'm a baller. You know what I'm saying? I watch football. I play football. I'm in that world. I love football. You know what I'm saying? So I always say, why the heck did the Patriots draft him? I say that every year, man.
Because he fits with the system.
And then it always turns around and right in there, man. They fit right in. It's like, wow, B, they know what they're doing up there. Don't mess with them, man.
Because it's a combination of athletic ability and mentality.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna get a guy in here who can not only do what we need him to do on the field, but he's gonna fit in with our discipline.
Yeah.
If he's gonna adopt to these NTs, and there's other things that go along with the Patriot way, but I just use that as an example. You know, it's a mindset thing.
Yeah, man.
And if he can fit in, then so it's like, do I go after the baddest chick? Or do I go after this chick? She's pretty. Her body is decent, but she's kind. She can cook. She'll support my business. And what is it about? Good looks or overall effectiveness? I'm going to go for effectiveness.
Mm-hmm. When they got Chad Jensen, what did you think?
When who got him?
During the Patriots,
I thought when Randy Moss went over there, that was my most. I was like, all right, how's this gonna work? But it worked. It worked, and
really well.
Yeah.
They were undefeated going into the Super Bowl until they came across.
And
the Giants.
you know, when you go to Gillette, when you go up there, there's just a feeling of, all right, I gotta fall in line. You know what I mean? Like,
nah, but that's
you know what I mean.
I'm gonna do my job.
Yeah. No, because for people who are going into business with me, I let it be known, like there's not going to be no playing over here.
Yeah,
it's not going down like that.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? We're gonna break some necks over here. We're gonna do it right over here. Don't think that you gonna just come over here and lollygag. You see what I'm saying?
Do your job.
Yeah.
Do your job.
You better.
Do your job.
It's true. You better.
It's true.
But to go back to what you said, like even as an entrepreneur and to play, to echo the entrepreneurship mindset, it's those little things.
Yeah, man.
It is those
little things.
You can't hit a home run if you don't connect with the ball.
Absolutely.
How do you think you're gonna hit a home run? Much less a grand slam.
Yeah, I love the skill thing. Like you don't need any talent.
You don't need talent to show up on time or show up early.
You don't need talent to just make a phone call.
Or make 10 if you need to.
10.
You know what kills me? You know what kills me though? You know what kills me?
Follow up.
You know what kills me?
Tell people you're running late.
Yeah.
All these little things.
People who make excuses grind my day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You give me an excuse when I think it's an unacceptable excuse. If you're sick, you know what? He's guy's on his deathbed. Be easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have this thing at the office. It's either I will find a way or I'll create a way, but I will not create an excuse. And I put that, it used to be in my office, but I put it in the main space so that if any of the team members ever say something out of line, I just point
to it. Yep.
And they like, I forget. You know what?
When we were pledging my line, when we were pledging Alpha Phi Alpha, excuses are for the weak and incompetent. They're for the weak and the incompetent people. You don't deal with excuses because excuses are going to put you in the hole.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's where you don't want to be.
Yeah, you don't want to be no.
Nah,
And the thing is, when you look at the average person who creates excuses, that creative ability and thought that went into making that excuse could have gone into getting it done right the first time.
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
For real. You think about it. But that just goes to show you how people use their energy. You see what I'm saying? Remember I said you got to manage your energy?
Yeah.
You manage your energy to do the right things, man. You'll be surprised what you come across.
And a lot of it is, it plays to a sort of a victim mindset too. So it's like, if I can put this creative ability into building this thing, or I could put this creative ability into an excuse that can win me some sympathy, and then now I'm the victim. And it's a very subconscious thing. There's a lot of people out here who don't recognize that their habits line up with them wanting sympathy as opposed to wanting to get the job done.
That's so.
And if they don't recognize it, you can't remedy that. That's something you have to peep from the outside. Like,
Self-awareness.
all right, cool, yeah. But that's you have to be taught that from young to be self-aware, to assess yourself. I tell this story all the time.
Tell it.
We were in college one night up, in the dorm bugging out. Morgan State.
Yeah.
And we had this debate about our favorite shows when we were growing up.
Right.
Cosby Show, Different World, this one, that one, that one. Somebody brought up the show Cheers. Instantly, I'm like, Cheers is whack. Show was terrible. They argued me. Are you crazy? Woody Harrelson? Show was mad funny.
Yeah.
Halfway through the argument, I was like, I never saw the show Cheers. How am I calling it whack and I dislike it and I never saw one episode? Yo, that stuck with me. One day, years later, it popped. I said, wait a minute. Cheers came on when it was time for me to go to bed. So the soundtrack to me having to go to bed was Sometimes You Wanna Go Where. So I grew a dislike for the show and never saw it. I say all of that to say I was able to do the surgery to figure out why am I under the influence of this dislike. Oh, it hit me. You know what I mean? I had a conversation with my boy the other day talking about why men cheat, and I had to really get into it. I said, yo, fam, it started when we was 4-5 years old. We had a barbecue with our uncle, with our pops. They like, yo, you got a girlfriend? I got 2 girls. You got 2 girlfriends? Here, take a sip of beer. High five. At 4 years old, we're taught it's cool to have multiple women.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then you chasing your virginity from there. And, it's just but if you don't do the, why am I like, why is this like this?
Yeah, why is this like
and
this?
most people don't take the time to do that.
No, they don't.
Subjectively, to look at things takes special effort.
Agreed.
First of all, it takes time. Right? And people don't like to invest time because, first of all, I don't want to say their lack of intelligence, but some people just don't.
Well, what I think it is, especially in our community, is, and even with mental health now being a public conversation, and our community, if something's going wrong up here, it's no good.
Yeah, they don't.
So to do a self-analysis also implies I might find some things in there that I don't really like.
I don't really like
about me. So I'd rather not go in there.
Nah, you have to.
You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Yeah, because it might get ugly.
It might get
I don't want
ugly.
to face that mirror.
Or I might remember something inappropriate that happened by such and such relative that I tucked away. It's all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our community, we don't really want to go in there.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? To go in there implies possibly finding some things I don't want to remember or want to see. So I'd rather not go in
something
there.
Triggers it.
Right.
And then you explode.
Absolutely.
But then everybody's like, yo, why did you explode?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you never dealt with
mental illness
problem.
Is something that I think that is relevant in this day and age. For the reason why I say that is because the medication that people are getting, the medication are not only has special side effects, but people who are supposed to be taking the medication are not taking the medication, and that also has a side effect. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you might be going to the post office, and next thing you know, you're caught in between 2 guns flying off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're caught in the middle of a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A gun battle, getting shot in the back. You see what I'm saying?
That just happened in the Bronx a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. That was outside playing dominoes.
That's
got
unfortunate,
shot in the back.
man.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to pay special attention to the medical awareness, mental illness that is happening now, and we all should take better care of. You know, a lot of people don't really understand the difference between medical help or medical care and health care, right? Health care, there is self-care in health care.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? There's preventative medicine in health care. You're taking all the steps to prevent.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's why I got respect for the rapper Big Sean.
Yeah, Big Sean.
You know, he just put a single out within the last couple of days, but he took a break. Like, he felt himself not right. You know, I can't necessarily, I don't know his full diagnosis. I don't know if he took medicine or just took a break, you know, but, you know, it was dope that he was, you know, man enough to publicly say, yo, you know, maybe I'm just tired. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? But he took a step away. He's cool. And now he's back to music. I think that's dope.
Primary, secondary, tertiary, those are levels of healthcare that people should be aware of. You see what I'm saying? Especially if you're going to be out doing business and not really, you see what I'm saying? Living a life that's A, B, C, D. You're going to be
moving.
Right. So you should be aware of the primary care that you need to get yourself into to stay healthy. Healthcare is ultimately important. It'll help you to avoid medical care.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
And if we tie all of this in with the entrepreneurship mindset,
yes,
you know, I think you're most effective as an entrepreneur when you're filling a need or solving a problem that is attached to your own gifts.
Right.
And what's a gift? You know, something you were born with, something you naturally have. And if you're not in that space, if you're not in that space and you're not willing to go in and dig, you're not even really going to be in tune with what your gifts are.
Yeah,
you'll be out there, you know, the fallacy of the elsewhere, like Pastor calls it. You know, just out there filling a void that's not really a void for you to fill.
And every
somebody else's void.
Yeah,
right.
No, because every business is not your business.
Right.
You mind your business. You see what I'm saying? Mind your business and you'll be just fine.
Absolutely.
Because I come across it all the time. People, I'm like, that's a great idea.
But not for me.
It's not my business. It's not my business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not my
and then
business.
there's plenty of people who try to pull you. Yo, I'm doing such and such. You'd be great for.
Yeah, not my business.
I don't sell coffee, man.
Right.
That's what I tell people all the time. I can't sell coffee.
I try to be as nice as I possibly can. You see what I'm saying? I try to be as courteous as I possibly can. I tell them, listen, I am being as nice as I possibly can right now. But no.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? No, this is not something that this is not what I want to do.
Right.
I'm not in that business. But it's
you can make a lot of money.
That's a killer idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But please.
Yo, I was thinking about you.
Stay away from me. Please.
So, Kel, man, what are some tips that you would give an entrepreneur if they have a vision, they stuck with it, but now they hit a little rough time where it's not working out for them. Okay. You know what I mean? And like how to overcome obstacles. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not always easy, and we all know that. But like, what would you tell them?
A lot of times it's what do I have access to, and sometimes I'll scroll through my contacts. You know, oh, snap, I forgot about this person. Sometimes I'll go through my top dresser drawer where there's 1,000,001 business cards. And you go through and you remember this one guy from a barbecue who said, yo, if you ever need me, like, yo, I forgot. You know, sometimes it's like, what do I have? What's in my hand? Because you'd be surprised what's really right there at arm's reach that you're just overlooking, because the answer can't be that simple. I got 2 salt and pepper shakers right here. This can't really be the answer. But if you really sit and think like, wait a minute, oh snap, I could take the back off of this and put and that could be your answer. So, you know, I think we overcomplicate things. You know, there has to be a formula. There has to be a power lunch and a power meeting. Nah, in most cases, the answer is very simple. Just what do I have? What's in my hand?
What's in my hand?
You know what I do?
I love it.
You know what I do? And people, okay, so when I come across a problem that is heavy, right, I really just say a prayer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Amen.
I really just say a prayer. You know what I'm saying? Don't let my enemy triumph over me.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I get into my little mood and I get into my little zone and I ask the Father for guidance. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand how powerful prayers are.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who don't, okay, if you don't believe in God, right, okay, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But as for me,
That's your guy.
yeah, I have utilized God in such a fashion. You know what I'm saying? He has brought me back from such a fashion. You see what I'm saying? I was in a coma for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got a reason to believe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So when I come across that problem, nothing ever beats my prayer. You see what I'm saying? Nothing ever beats it. It always works out to be most prosperous for me. You see what I'm saying? So
Get it?
I feel you.
Yeah, man. And going back to what I said earlier about the whole gift thing, it's like and there's matter of fact, there's ways to identify your gift, right?
Yeah.
And I learned these from someone else. Like, what do you have to do what do you naturally know how to do that other people had to go to school to learn how to do? What is something people always come to you for to ask you your advice on? What is something that even if you tried to put it down and stop doing it, it would just keep calling you and keep eating at you? You know, what is something that if you had all your bills paid, you do it for free? You know, these are things that you really have to stop and think. And it doesn't have to be one thing. It could be a couple of different things. And if that's your gift, then there's a million ways you could do it. Like there are some people who are neat freaks.
How did
they
you
don't
find
like to
your
see
gift?
dust.
How did you find your gift?
When I learned that, when I was given that list, I
Yeah.
sat and thought about it, and I was like, and I use that as like my barometer for what I will and won't get involved in. And I also use it for little cracks where I can find a niche. Like, oh, I could be dope over there. I give you a perfect example. I have no idea why. I mean, I do now, but since I was like 12 years old, my homegirls who was like 14 and 15 with their first boyfriends, they go through a breakup, they come to me. I'm 12. What do I? But I say, I mean, he don't like you no more because he did da-da-da-da-da. And then it started. And then since 12, women have been coming to me and I'm like, maybe there's something there that was put in me. Yeah. And then you come to me, yo, write a book. And yo, I've been on, I don't know how many relationship panel discussions. Yeah. And then so years later on MySpace, I used to share these stories. I don't know if y'all remember MySpace used to post bulletins where all your friends would get it. I would share stories. I didn't know one of my friends worked for Essence Magazine, one of my MySpace friends. She said, yo, we running a story. I follow you. I read your bulletins. Would you mind writing a story it was something about the single man's experience in dating and da-da-da-da-da. This is probably like 2004 or something like that. I said, all right, I guess. Wrote the thing for Essence. I logged into MySpace the day after that came out. I had 30,000 new friends, all black women.
Wow.
In my inbox, yo, I read you. And I'm like, all right, I guess. Then MC Light, who's like my big sister, she was like, yo, we got to do a project together. And I had a couple of relationship conversations with her.
Love MC Light.
So
I seen her DJing Snoop and Martha's cooking show the other night. You guys ever watch that?
I've seen clips of it.
I love that show. Whoever thought of putting Martha Stewart and Snoop
especially
together
after she got out of jail.
Is a genius.
It's a genius.
Genius. I love that cooking show. Love it.
So we did this project called Salon Stories where I'm not giving relationship advice, but women talk about relationships in salons. It was more of me just setting the table for certain conversations to be had. Salon Stories album did well. I started doing speed dating events to promote the album. This is probably around 2010. But what started to happen was I'd get 100 women to come out and like 4 guys, right? So I'm like, yo, why don't I said, you know what? Maybe add another element. And then I added games. Right? So I added games to the speed dating and I got with a collective and we created something called Dating Game. So it was basically the first game night here in New York City.
Yeah.
Years later, we ended up parting ways, but then from there, I created what's now Playtime Worldwide. So we're the largest game night on the East Coast, and we have our signature style of speed dating. We got 26,000 members in our Facebook group. My inbox is on fire all day. So there's times I go live. All right, cool. Today's topic on relationships is someone or so. I didn't go to school for that, but it was something since I was 12, 13 years old, and we built a whole brand off of that now. So there's Pens of Power, there's Playtime. We're about to film our romantic comedy, Dear Playtime, the movie. We're expanding to new cities. I'm about to head out to Puerto Rico. Next year is going to be our first Playtime in Paradise in Puerto Rico. All of this rooted in a gift.
In a gift.
We can now make board games. The app is on the way. I bought y'all some gift bags with some stuff, your Playtime mingle money and your bracelets and all of that stuff is in there. Yo, all from a gift. Now there's subdivisions. We got PT Village where we do community service. PT Fit, our fitness brand. PT Bookworms, the book club. PT Poet. We got all of this just from a gift. Now, granted, I got a team. It's not just me.
No.
But yo, all rooted in a gift. And what sparked the game nights was I would see constantly on social media, I'm tired of going to the club. I want to get dressed up and look cute. I want to go out and hear some music and get a little drink, but I'm tired of the club. So I'm like, yo, that's a need. So game nights, we got a DJ, we get some dancing, and we do 300-400 people every month.
I love it.
So here's mingle money. Once a year, we do our singles auction, right? Mac Wilds came and hosted our last one. So you get mingle money as a means to bid on the dates. And now we got a couple of other events coming up where you could use mingle money too. So all of y'all got $50,000 in mingle money. Deck of cards, bracelet, our rewards card is in there as well.
I'm married.
Well, your homeboys. I'm married too.
He's married with 2 kids, man.
So I mean, like I said, that whole gift thing is big. If you just sit there and really think about like, yo, what do I naturally have? What do I naturally have? You could build a whole empire on that if you could find a way for your gift to meet a need. Aristotle said, where your talents, abilities, and gifts meet the needs of the world, there lies your purpose.
I like a guy that quote Aristotle.
And that's it.
Full of it, man. I love it.
And that's it, man.
So with let's talk about relationships and marriage and dating. And,
cool.
What advice would you give someone who is an entrepreneur, and now their focus is on building their business? They live in New York. It's tough. They got to grind. But they also know that the clock is ticking for the ladies out there.
This is a single person or person in a relationship already?
No, they single.
This is single, okay.
So they're single. Clock is ticking because a lot of the women are hitting us up like, hey, I'm trying. You always asking people about, like, these guys are married. These women that you bring on are married. Now, give some advice to the single woman, right?
Not a problem.
So now it's like, so they're putting a lot of effort into their business, but now their relationship, their single life is a little messed up.
I got you.
Right? Because they can't commit. I mean, I don't know what their problem is, but either they can't commit or they can't put the relationship first, or because they are boss in their relationship, they're boss at work, they can't. And we have a chapter like that, But I just told him, yo, go read Single Man, Married Man.
Yeah,
But,
it's in there.
But what advice would you give that person, like,
well, for one,
relationships?
I don't care what business you have. It doesn't require 24 hours out of the day.
Nope.
I don't care what business you have. 2, if you on it like that, where you're that engulfed in your business where it takes more time than the average person who works a 9-to-5 or than the average business owner, whoever you're going to be with is either going to have to be in that world or understand that world. So what I would suggest is you go after people in that world. I tell people, I mostly say this to women. If I want a woman who, say, has my same spiritual beliefs, who understands business like me, who's physically fit, if I was single, I would literally do stuff like Google Christian business conference. Oh, $45? All right, I'm going to buy me a ticket. I might network here, but I'm in there looking for the baddest chicks in there.
Where you at?
That's what I would do. And nobody on the planet knows that that's why I'm here but me.
Yeah.
So you ain't got to worry about people thinking I'm thirsty. You thirsty.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that's what I'm doing. I would do that. Now, I'm around giving out business cards, talking. It's a business networking event, so everybody in here is around talking to as many people as possible.
Yeah,
so I don't look. Those are the things that I would do. I would go specifically to the place where somebody is in this world, or at least somewhat understands this
Like,
world.
if you want to catch bass, fish, you don't go where they're
Exactly. And I don't. And women kill me with this whole.
You go where there's bass.
I go out. I go to sports bars where there's men and. Now, granted, that is a little bit like sit there and think about.
Right.
And the other problem with that is a lot of people don't know what they want. So to be able to create a list of Christian entrepreneur, you got to know that that's what you want.
Yeah.
People are just out there randomly. Yeah. It's like food shopping. If you go into a supermarket hungry, you're going to pour everything down off the shelves. You're going to go home, and most of this stuff is going to end up sitting in the cabinets forever. But if you go in there with a list, you'll be very specific, and you won't even pay attention to most of the stuff in there because it's not on the list. If I'm here for cake ingredients, I don't even need to walk down the soda aisle.
Yeah, not at all.
So I'm not going to be tempted by what's on the soda aisle because it's not even on my list. But if I'm in here hungry, just doing whatever, soda's going to tempt me. I might deal with soda for 3 months and then it don't work out. And then the cake pans are going to tempt me. And you got to be specific and intentional.
It's true.
So to that person, I would say specifically go to those realms and those areas where like-minded people are going to be. And they're going to understand you not understanding that balance because they're trying to figure that balance. Or they might have figured it out already. And that will help your partnership. That's what I would tell them.
And you said a key word, partnership.
Partnership. That's clutch.
You know, like, yeah,
go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
So you married, you recently had another baby.
Yes.
Another boy.
Congrats,
man.
Thank you.
Well, there's two things I want to ask you. I want you to talk about Watch the Hip. I want you to talk about that since we talk about relationships. And I also want to, tell the people about, because I heard it at the baby shower, but about the list that you had.
Okay.
When you met your wife.
Okay.
Because it's an interesting story.
All right, now watch your waist. I guess
Pay attention, guys.
This is for men and women. So in basketball, when you play in defense, you're taught to watch the person's waist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They can't go anywhere without their waist.
The hip points in the direction.
So you could do 1,000 dribbles and roundabacks and crossovers. If I'm watching your waist, that's not going to affect me. Right? So when it comes to dating, if I have my list, and it doesn't have to be a lengthy, crazy, extra OD specific list, right? You got your core, maybe 10 things that you like and enjoy and whatever, right? When you're dating somebody, you are watching not only for these things, but you're watching for their consistency in this. And by consistency, I mean an alignment of word, gesture, and spirit, if you're into that kind of thing. I am, right? So what they're saying, what they're doing, and their overall vibe is in alignment, and they got these things on your list. If that's all out of whack, it don't matter how good they make you feel, or how they smell, or how, don't get tricked by the fancy dribbling and all. Just watch their waist. That's it, and it don't take long. And ladies, I love y'all, but this happens a little more with you than it does with the guys. The dude could just be all wrong, but you hung up on having a warm body next to you. I'm getting older, so I need to do whatever. He makes me feel good. You get hung up on all of these. He got a crib, whatever. Right? You get hung up on all of these things that have nothing to do with his waist. Watch the waist.
Watch the waist.
Hey, you know what?
Watch the waist. I love it.
I've never said this before, but I'm going to say it now. Because
And we'll get to your second question, too.
Yes. When I was 12 years old, I saw my wife. I saw my wife in a vision. I saw her. She looked just like how she looked when I met her. I saw her.
That's dope.
I saw her. Yeah. I was like, I was in my room. I was in my bed, and for some reason, it came in my mind like, this is the woman you're going to marry.
Yo.
I saw her.
Yo,
and
you
when
know, I
saw
agree, bro. I had the same thing.
It's funny
I
you say that.
described my wife to a T, bro.
Because just this morning I was thinking about one of my homegirls hit me a couple days ago, and you know she met some dude, and this dude, she's basically on some like, yo, this dude is in love with me too quick. How he in love so quick, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't circled back to have that full out conversation with her yet. But this morning I was thinking about that, and I was like, yo, you could create a vision, just like with a business. Or buying a home or a car. You could create a vision of what you like. Never seen the thing before. But you create a vision of what you like. And along could come something or someone that looks like that vision. And you kind of, you on alert already. This could be it. And then you walk in the crib and it's like, you know, or you go on a couple dates and it's like, yo, you're starting to look like the vision I had before I even met you. So I might be a little more attracted to you than I normally would be somebody else, or a little sooner than expected. And I'm like, that's not necessarily a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I told my wife 2 weeks in, like, yo, we're gonna be married in 2 years.
Because at the end of the day, although it's you, it kind of has nothing to do with you. But more to do with the vision that I create. I'm in love with this vision, and somebody, you know, I made these clothes, and somebody gonna come along, and these clothes fit them perfectly. And I'm just looking, and then here you come, and I'm like, wait a minute, you look like I'm going to be excited about you by the time you get here.
Kel.
So it has more to do with you fitting into this vision.
I mean, when I first met with my wife, I came on strong.
Yeah.
She was like, yo, what is this guy's problem?
Yo, Kel, Jeff, I want to ask you guys a question. So my mom always told me, right? She said, the man, and she used to always tell my sister this, the man has to always love you more than the woman loves you. So she told me, look, the man has to be the one that loves, like, I have to love my wife more. It doesn't mean that she doesn't love me, but I just have, if she is 99, I have to be 101, because that is when the man has to chase the woman, not the other way around. When a woman has to chase and tell the man, yo, you need to marry me. Those are where you have the problems.
Well, I definitely agree with the man.
That's how she said it.
The man needs to be the pursuer.
The pursuer, yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And it's funny, I put up a post in our group where I was telling women, approaching and pursuing are not the same thing.
Just like submission and subjective is not the same thing.
I agree. I agree. Submit does not mean be a doormat.
Right. Exactly. Right.
But yeah, approach, and I put women on. I said, ladies, I'm gonna show y'all how to wipe lint. Right? So I'm like, yo, you standing behind a dude at the supermarket, you think he's attractive or whatever. I say, yo, wipe lint off of his shoulder. He's gonna turn around and look at you like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And if there's some chemistry there, he'll probably smile. He won't be a jerk about it. And you say, oh, you had a little lint on your shoulder. Oh, my bad. Good looking out. Thank you for a conversation is in now. So ladies, you approached him, but you're not pursuing him. You approached him, y'all exchange numbers, and then the pursuit starts after that.
Yeah.
He will then ask you out on a date and whatever. So approach and pursue are not the same thing. So at our events, a lot of the ladies hit me, yo, I wipe like four lints on. Yeah. You can approach a man and we love it. Don't pursue me.
Yo, that's
but you
so
can
funny,
approach
man.
me.
I think somebody did that to me and I said, yeah, I'm married.
It might have been one of us.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I was like, yo, why is she wiping lint off my shoulder? Off my suit.
And I tell him, you could wipe lint every day. Wipe lint every day.
Ladies, I'm married.
Every day.
Yeah.
No,
That's it.
I feel you.
So, you're not escaping
But the list.
So,
here's what happened. And this is from Pastor.
Yes.
He was talking about, we go to the same church. Right?
CCC, Pastor Bernard.
So he was talking about a list of values, right? You can have a list of goals. Huh?
No, I was giving my church a shout out.
Of course.
Bronx Bethany.
All right, Bronx Bethany, what up?
Yeah.
Right? So you can have a list of goals, but that list of goals is not going to be 100% accurate if you don't factor in your values. So let's say you value sleep. You're not a morning person at all. But you're on your goals is, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym. How realistic is that? That's your goal, but you value sleep. Maybe you need to go to the gym at night. Maybe you need to go to the gym right after you get off of work. So you have to factor in your value. So I say all of that to say, I created this list of what I want in a future wife. And then I did my 14 core values. And when I did my 14 core values, I then had to change my list. So I ended up coming up with 13 things on this list. Right? These are the 13 things I want in a wife in this order. Right? And I didn't tell anybody about it. I just tucked it in my back pocket. Cool. And at the time, my little brother was going through a breakup. So I met my wife, we're dating, we're early in our relationship. My brother goes through his breakup and he says to me, yo, son, word to mother, next time I get a girl, she gonna be like Quana. That's my wife's name. She gonna be like Quana. You know what I'm saying? She gonna have this, she gonna have this. And he's saying the things in the exact order that they're on my list. I'm like,
Really?
God? Like, what is this? And he don't even know. Like, nobody knew about this list but me. He says like 3 or 4 things in the same order. I said, I'm getting goosebumps right now telling this stuff.
I see it. I see the goosebumps.
I said, yo, and years later, I told him, I said, yo, son, when you and such was going through that breakup, and that was the order on my list. And he was like, word? But I say all of that to say, I had my list, and I'm out there. That's my shopping list. I'm in the supermarket. I don't even need to go down that aisle because there ain't nothing down there on my list, which means this woman here, just through in a conversation, I could tell, nah, shorty, you ain't it. Like, I don't even need to go. So, like, that's now my barometer. That's my measuring stick while I'm out there dating. My list.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was in the park last night. I just kind of stopped by. I seen some of my boys out there. So my brother was out there. Big up to Big Shell.
Big Shell.
Shell, what up?
You know what I'm saying?
My guy.
So, the subject of marriage came up, you know, and the discussion kind of tilted to what makes a marriage successful, right? And I tried to explain to them that as a man, right, we are attracted to the things we see. This is what the man nature. But if your self-control is not governed by love and respect, you know what I'm saying? You're going to find yourself in trouble. So this is why you must always have in your mind the future. And in order to avoid conflict, you must realize that there has to be mutual understanding. You know what I'm saying? Your wife has to know her man. The man has to know the woman. The husband-man cannot compete with anything else. The husband-man is there to make sure that the wife is well groomed. The wife is well suited. The well taken care of. You see what I'm saying? But the dudes who were married, they automatically fell in line. But the guys who were single,
They didn't get it.
they could not. They were like, "You stupid." I was like,
It was just like that statement with the compliments with the women. The married women, we said
Stroke his ego.
stroking the ego, right? Giving a man a compliment.
Yeah.
The married woman was, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Love that.
Love that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Single
I
women.
what? Hell no. I ain't doing that. Why? He's with me. That should be good enough. That's the best. I'm like, yo.
Yeah,
It's like, I once heard getting married is one of the most unnatural things that you can ever do, with one of the biggest payoffs that you'll ever get. And I thought about it, like, you really have to become a different person to be in a healthy marriage. A different person meaning other than the way you were always raised, and, you know, to now say, I'm going to put my singleness aside and devote myself to another person. That takes you deciding to do that.
Listen.
To now say, I'm going to be the head of this household and do this for these kids. You have to take on a new mentality to be in that space.
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
not an easy character to get along with. I'm not. I'll be the first to tell you that.
See, that's self-awareness.
Yeah, that is.
No, I'll tell you that. But the reason why my wife and I have been together for as long as we have, like 20 years. 20 plus, is because she knows me. Mm-hmm. She knows. Sometimes I have to be like, Dad, go on, man. Why she know me like that, man? It's not fair, man.
Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair.
She knows. That's one of the things that really attracted to my wife, right? Her reasoning skills was off the chart.
Yeah.
Her reasoning, I was like, oh.
That's attractive.
Yeah. Why she got me like that? And yeah.
Yo, how do you balance, man? Like, because you're so busy. Mm-hmm. You're so busy. How do you balance now 2 kids and a wife? Like, as an entrepreneur, because a lot of people aren't even doing half the stuff you're doing. Mm-hmm. And all the stuff that you said, like, I don't want it to go above people's minds, heads. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you do it? Like, give them a game plan, man. We want to help you guys out there in YouTube land.
Time management. You and I had the conversation about the app last week, right? And whatever pocket assistant you use or Google Calendars or whatever, use them. My phone is going off all day with alarms, alerts, reminders.
Task
use it. And if you can forecast as far into the future as possible, do that. Like, see your schedule 6 months ahead as much as you can, and then you have technology to help you. That's 1. 2, my wife and I, one of the best engagement gifts we got was the love languages book. Right? The 5 love languages. Right? Nice. So we read that. Actually, we read it before we got married.
Yeah.
So tell the people about that book.
Yeah. So it basically gives you a guide for you to understand what your love language is and what your partner's love language is. So when you understand what your partner's love language is, even if it's not your own, you kind of love them from that perspective. And my wife's is quality time. So time management almost by default has to be a part of my recipe because that's the way she loves. Now, if quality time wasn't her love language, I don't know if I would be as time oriented as I am. Maybe not. But the technology part would still be in place. But the fact that me having to have that in place and using technology to do it, and my wife, that's her thing, that has a lot to do with the organization and my ability to get certain things. And then it's prioritizing, with you being an alpha male and you trying to get out there and get things done, you sometimes have to talk yourself down off of certain things. Like, all right, I really don't have to get this done right now. This can wait till next week. And that's hard to do. And a lot of entrepreneurs have that go, now mindset. Chill. Like, you really don't. There's times where I might be on my phone playing a game and I gotta get 20 minutes done gone by.
That's why I have
my son, Daddy, we going to the pool. Hold on. But then I'm like, wait a minute. This is a stupid game. Come on, let's go swim.
I remove all games.
But that's that drive.
Phone.
Yeah, man.
Get them off my phone. I get them off my phone.
I don't have no games.
Because you want to kill everything.
Yeah. I don't even have email on my phone.
Just for that,
anymore,
just what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just from what you're saying, I've removed all games from my phone.
Do not
just
like
because of
losing.
What you're saying.
I have to win. I have to win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And with that I have to win mentality taken to the extreme. You'll throw your schedule, your drive, your organization off. So you gotta place that in the proper pockets. That I have to win. Place it in the right settings. Don't let it be extreme.
So you hear that, people?
Yeah.
Anything else?
You could be trying to speed walk the person walking on this, walking to the train. This dude trying to walk faster than me. Oh, no. Let's make it more practical. You at the red light and the dude roll up next to you and look over.
Look over.
What? You don't have to feed into that. Like, come on. I know. But that's but these are the things. These are the things you gotta.
Those are the things, yo.
But
especially if they look at me.
But how about this? Let's say you're on time for your meeting, You're on time for your meeting, and now you racing this dude for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You just threw your schedule off by 20 minutes because you went 10 minutes out of the way, and now you got to
Come back 10 more minutes.
But if you can manage that, that's the killer sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
Big
the
up to my
killer.
wife. Today's her birthday too, by the way.
Happy birthday!
Toya.
That's what's up. Congrats. Live it up. Yeah, man. You got to put a leash on that thing.
Yeah. So Kel, man. So that's how you balance. That's the advice. Now, what has been like one of the biggest challenges for you, man? Because I'm like
Kaleidoscope.
father of the year, husband of the year.
Actually.
Father of the year.
I know. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
You know.
Kaleidoscope looked like a big
Yeah.
project.
Kaleidoscope is actually new.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do something where I guess I could let it out the bag. This is an
let it out the
entrepreneurship
bag.
platform.
Yeah, let it out
I'm
the
trying
bag.
to leverage
Let's get some
each
ratings.
of my brands off of the other two.
Leverage.
Right?
A word that we always hear on this show.
Trying to leverage each brand off of the other two, right? So I have Pens of Power, I have Playtime, I have Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope is my multimedia and branding company. So what started to happen with these schools is, as I said earlier, the kids get an opportunity to record a song, shoot a music video, red carpet video, premiere party. We would fill up these auditoriums with these premiere parties. So the principals would pull me to the side like, yo, I can't get half of these parents to come to open school night. How you getting them to come out to? So I'd say, well, what are you doing on social media? Oh, our school doesn't have social media. Okay. What do you do? Do you send e-blasts out to the parents? Nah, we just send notices home for the kids to. Okay. What, so I'd ask these questions, and then schools would say, well, can we hire you to do the branding and marketing for the school? I guess I could do that.
Yeah.
Especially since other businesses have done it along the way.
Yeah.
Yo, Kel, we need it. So, in me being an athlete, and like I said, I was learning bits of entrepreneurship while my music career was what it was. I've written theme songs for NFL franchises. I've partnered.
Cool.
ESPN used to have a show called The Season where they would follow. My brother and I, we did the theme song for the season. So I'm fusing sports and entertainment, but the music is helping to tell the story of these entities. The first project I worked on was the Wild Wild West soundtrack. I did the Men in Black 2 theme song.
That's big.
I co-wrote Switch, which came out the same time that Hitch came out. So, so it's like these entities are helping to tell a story. This goes with branding. This goes with marketing. This goes with advertising. I didn't know it at the time. In hindsight, I'm learning this. So when these schools are asking for this, I'm like, yo, let's put a theme song together for the school. Let's throw it on streaming platforms. The royalties from the streaming platforms is around the clock fundraiser for your school. These are all of the things that now we have a niche with schools, but the Kaleidoscope brand also fuels Playtime. It also fuels Pens of Power. We have a couple of other small companies that we're going to take on as clients. So, and then I'm back in the studio right now cooking up too.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, with what happens with my own music will be another entity that can leverage. So, I'm trying to do something different and unique, but it's all me. I'm not trying to go outside of my gifts and my abilities. You know what I mean? So, I don't even know if I answered your question.
No. You're
But that's what the Kaleidoscope brand.
The challenge that you're facing right now is.
The challenge is how do you leverage all those brands together?
Yeah. So like I said, it's ultimately, I think Kaleidoscope is going to be the major piece. That's going to be the head company as well. But I think it's going to be the major piece that allows the other ones to get in the position that I want them to, because it has the most flexibility.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? So and it's a new company, like 4 months old.
Okay.
I mean, we have clients already. But it's like it was there already before it became a company, right?
Yeah.
But the actual name and website
for like a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
So we haven't even had the launch party yet. I don't even have business cards yet. Leave me alone. I've been about to get business cards from this dude for 13 years now. But
It's about to happen today, though.
But man. So
man, no, I'm happy, man. Congrats, bro.
Thanks, man.
Definitely.
I love when people launch businesses. Now, we didn't even talk about this, and I would love to bring it up. What do you think of social media and entrepreneurship?
all right, so another thing too is, all right, so we talked about earlier you meeting a need and putting the resources together to fulfill that need. You also have to be where people are. You know what I mean? If we look out this window right now, I'd say 40% of the people walking by are probably doing this.
On their phone.
Doesn't necessarily mean they're on social media, but that's where their eyes are, right? So you have to be where the eyes are. So, and the thing is, too many people confuse social media with posting selfies and taking pictures of your food. I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but there's so many social media strategies you can run using hashtags, the time of day when you post, synchronized posting with other people, how you use your Insta stories or your Facebook story. Like, there's so many angles and ways to use it that, you know, you have to look a little deeper into it, or come to an ACA or Kaleidoscope and we'll show you how. But, you know, there's so many angles and ways to use it. And you also have to pick your platform.
I'm not on social media.
Your business may do better. So let's say I'm glad you said that.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's say your business does better with e-blasts than social media. Yeah. That could happen.
Yeah.
That's your lane.
Or
your business does better on Twitter than it does any other platform. My business, we have a Facebook group. We have 24/7 round-the-clock engagement. That's like the heart of the Playtime brand. We put up polls. Yo, we doing a game night at Baltimore Lanes, Times Square. They just asked us what we want the drink special to be. Here's a poll. What y'all like? Go back to the poll the next day. They pick Duce. Yo, we want Duce as
yeah.
And they feel better about that. They feel a part of the thought process. You know, when that flyer goes up and Duce is $8 all night, it's like, oh,
they're inclusive.
Yeah.
So that may not work for Duce Palooza. They may not have a Facebook group where they can, you know, their edge may be something else.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
It was interesting because you know, the social component, right, is go where people are, but also go do what works for you, right?
Absolutely.
Like, it's interesting because we've had people on here with blue checks. We had people on here, verified accounts. We had people on here with hundreds of thousands of followers. We had people here with tens of thousands of followers. And Jeff, that has no social media, has more views on his episode with no social media than other people. And some people were like, how's that even possible? Because what Jeff did was Jeff actually reached out to Kel and say, hey, Kel, I was on Faithgrindinspire today. Check out my episode here.
Gotcha.
That's how I like to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You know, because what happens is I think
they tell somebody,
and then they tell somebody, versus what the illusion is oh, I posted it, and I caught myself doing that a couple times when I see people that I know follow me on Instagram or follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and I'm like, you didn't know about my podcast? Like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? You follow me on Instagram? I posted. Yeah. And then I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden I realize, like, oh, shoot. The way the system's set
algorithm,
up,
right? They might not
never have saw it.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? You follow 2,000 people. You don't see I see the same 5-6 people's posts every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have to go search for someone's post. You know? So you can't. So what his way of doing it, so when you have 100,000 or 200,000 or whatever it is that you have, or even 5,000 people, when you post, only maybe a little percent of those people are really seeing it, right? So if you're not engaging with people, if you're not really connecting with them, like I'm talking about blew out, like I'm really, Kel,
dope,
like maybe 400% blowout.
I'm special still.
And I'm still amazed. I'm still amazed. I know Kel is going to beat you. Kel's going to break that record.
Oh, man, the pressure's on.
Kel's going to break that record. But anyway, man, so any last thing that you want to share with the people?
Yeah.
And tell them where they can find you on social, how to connect with you. and how to learn more about you.
KelSpencer.com. That's my website. It has links to any projects I'm working on, any businesses I'm affiliated with, as well as my social media handles. If you want to just jump right to Instagram, that's at Kel Spencer, KelSpencer. In closing, what I would do, let me say something that's not going to be cliche. I would say, stemming from your question earlier about hitting that wall, because as entrepreneurs, you're going to hit some kind of wall. One of the best pieces of advice I got was a setback is a setup for a comeback, right? So when you hit that setback and you're not understanding why you can't move, even in that stillness and in that frustration, you're going to learn something and get something out of that that can help you for when you get to that next level. So get the lesson in the frustration, right? Because that's what's going to help you in that setup to be able to come back from that setback.
When I was
the process.
I studied film at Columbia University, and one of the things that this character development course was telling us is that when your character is in the worst predicament possible, it always turns out to be the best thing that can happen.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you got to always remember that. The worst thing that you think that's happening right now will turn out to be the best thing that has ever happened.
To trust the process.
Because, stemming from what you said about filmmaking, nobody watches a movie where the guy has all the money and all the girls and all the muscles and no problems. It's that about 2/3 of the way through the movie where he hits rock bottom and then rises like the phoenix.
People love that. So thank you, Kel.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you guys to our listeners, our OG Podcast Network family, to our producer. To our producer,
Tim, come on, Tim, get in the picture.
Come on, Tim. This is our producer, Tim. Shout out to Tim.
Tim, who made me drink the kombucha.
Thank you, Kel, for coming on. Thank you, Kel. Thank you, Jamie. Brianna. Shout out to our guest producer today, Ra.
What up,
Thank you,
Ra?
man. And OG Podcast Network, continue to follow us on Spotify, on OG, on iTunes, everywhere you can, Stitcher,
wherever you listen to
Inspire.
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
Every Wednesday, watch our show.
All right,
listen to our show.
show.
Share it.
Yeah, for real.
Peace. Thank you. Remember, continue to grind. Peace.
Absolutely.